Welcome to another day in Kashgar with Gweilo 60.
And Wei Fang Liao.
So, when we came to our hotel after supper last night, it was pretty late. There was actually a dust storm in town here, and they say that's quite common just for the fact that the desert starts 30 kilometers outside of town. So when the wind is pointing the right direction, they get dust storms. And boy, it was like, seriously, the wind blew up, and it was like you could hardly see across the street. There was so much dust. So they have their problems here too. In Nanning, we have rainstorms that you can't see across the street. Here, they have dust storms.
It's cold.
It's cold here now?
No.
This morning? It's like 23 degrees, guys. She gets cold easy. She's a Nanning girl. It's, I'll warm her up, no problem. Just finished breakfast and we're off to the desert. Yes, the desert in China. Sometimes you just hit pay dirt, and we did that this morning. We came out to a plum orchard, and they're promoting the products from dried plums, which would be prunes, I would imagine. And they actually make Baijiu and syrup out of the plums. The Baijiu is freaking amazing. We drank some Baijiu on a trip in Xinjiang Autonomous Region, I don't know, about a year ago, and we actually bought a big bottle of it because it was so good. This is just as good, if not better. One of the things that I really notice is the simplicity of the Chinese business model. They want to promote their products, so they bring people like me that has a platform, or many platforms that I put my videos out on, and show me what they're doing, and then I make a video about it. But it's as simple as them setting up a couple of tables like this out on the farm, where you have the plum orchard like this, and just showing you grassroots what they're selling. Makes so much sense, guys. Plum Baijiu at 10:30 in the morning, guys. Oh, that's good. Oh, my friend. Oh, yeah.
Let me taste a little.
That'll wake your ass up, boy. I'm telling you.
God.
Well, this was a boom with everybody because, they came and they saw and they conquered probably a couple of bottles of Baijiu in our group, which is pretty good for like 10:30 in the morning. I'm giving kudos to a couple of the people that went above and beyond what they were supposed to today in the Baijiu wars of Xinjiang province. What I've seen over the last day here in this part of Xinjiang province is that, for one, the Chinese government is bringing water 165 kilometers away from a mountain range to this area of a desert that is fairly sparsely populated. Okay, why are they doing that? Well, to build things like this. And you say, build what, Gweilo? Change desert into arable land. As they change desert into arable land, you're building product. You're building plums. You're building Baijiu. You're building employment for people to work in these fields. You're building employment for people that are running the water system, that are running the water purification systems. You're bringing fresh water to the communities of this area. You're helping the economy of the area from desert land, sand, to what you see right now. Okay, well, it's growing this area of China. When people say that Xinjiang province is a have-not province, yeah, a lot of this province is desert and mountains, and just not very good for basically growing anything. But the places that they can turn into this, they are. And as they do projects like this, initiatives like this, and turn desert into arable land, and create employment, and bring potable water, good drinking water to the people, you're bolstering the economy. You're making it better. Along with that comes better infrastructure, better schools, better hospitals, better education for the children. Once the children get better education down the road, they'll be part of initiatives like this in the future that will just make the economy grow even more. I know. I come from Canada. Everybody basically knows that, and we have Indian reserves, places where the government put the Native Canadians back a long time ago, and they still have Indian reserves today, where a lot of Native people live. A lot of those Indian reserves do not have drinkable water. Why? And China has to bring water in this area from 165 kilometers away and pipe it in. In Canada, we have lakes and rivers freaking everywhere. So you get these Indian reserves, and there's a lake right next to it, but the Canadian government doesn't have the moxie or the will or the want to put a water system right there so that the people of that community have drinkable water. The difference from and then Canada goes and says, oh, look at what China's doing to those poor people in Xinjiang province. Maybe they should be looking at what they do in their own country to their own people, to their own minorities, and understand that maybe they could learn from what China's doing and do the same as they're doing, because they're obviously helping the minority here in Xinjiang province more than the Canadians are helping the native people in Canada. I actually get a kick out of a lot of this stuff. Out in the middle of nowhere, we get to travel a lot and see a lot of this stuff. And it's sponsored by Chinese organization. This one is China Daily, and I'm sure it has some ties to the Chinese government. But the idea is they're showing us what they're doing right, so that we can show you what they're doing right. Try to counter all of the mainstream bullshit media that in the West saying all of the bad things that China's doing. But you know what? They're doing a lot of good things. Could they do better? For sure they could. But you know what? They're doing a lot of good things here in China. They're making the lives of a lot of these minorities in mainland China better, and not only just in, say, Guangxi Autonomous Region, not only in Guangdong or Shaanxi or wherever you may be, but here in Xinjiang province also. They look at the people in Xinjiang province, the Uyghur people, the Han people, all of the people here as family, and they want them to have a better life, and that's basically what they're doing here. One of the things I want to show you is how they utilize their land here. You can see the plum trees in the background, and then you can see the grain that they're growing underneath. I think it's actually wheat. Plus, they got potatoes here. They've got plum trees here. They've got grapes all along here. On the other side, they have walnut trees here. So they diversify, and they fill up every little piece of land that they possibly can, because it's arable land in a place that used to be desert. It's the water that they use is precious because it has to be shipped in from 165 kilometers away from the base of a mountain, coming off the snow melt on the mountaintops. So they don't take the water for granted here, and they use every little bit of land that they possibly can, and they don't waste anything. And I think that's another thing, guys and girls, we could learn from the Chinese people on how to actually utilize the land properly. Amazing. All in Xinjiang province. Get out of here, eh? This is what a walnut tree looks like. Every once in a while I come across something that I've never seen before in my life. Hey? Look at these suckers. These are a fruit. Sweet. Coming off a tree like this. Look at this. Like, look at this stuff. Hey? Wow. And what's the name of this fruit? Dongshen. Dongshen.
Yeah.
And there's probably no English translation because I ain't never seen nothing like this before in any Western store.